My name is Sanchai G. Borja, but you can call me Teacher Sai. Alright, class, before we start our new lesson, let's have a quick review. Who remembers what matter is? That's right. Matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. Now, matter comes in three states. Can anyone name them? Yes, solid, liquid, and gas. Solid have their own shape and volume. Liquids takes the shape of their container but keep the same amount. And gases spread out everywhere and don't have a limit shape or volume. Wow, you all did an amazing job remembering the state and properties of matter. Since we already know that matter can change from one form to another, let's give our learning a step forward. Today, we're going to explore how matter changes, not just in appearance, but sometimes into something completely new. Today, we're going to explore how things around us can change. Every day we see changes. Ice melting, food cooking, paper burning, or iron rusting. Have you ever wondered why these changes happen? Here's an ice cube. When I hold it, what do you think will happen after a few minutes? Very good. It will change from ice to water. It's still the same thing but it looks different now. That's an example of change happening to a material. Now, I have this small piece of paper. If I burn this paper carefully, what will happen? Yes, it will turn into ashes. You see, the paper changed. It doesn't look or feel the same anymore. Very good answer, class. We saw that materials can change in different ways. Some just change how they look, while others become something new. Today, we learn more about these two types of changes called physical change and chemical change. Life is a constant change. Several changes happen every day. From the moment we wake up and prepare our meals, changes already take place. Dissolving your coffee, brushing your hair, ironing your crumpled clothes, these are examples of physical changes. Now, what is physical changes? Physical changes are changes in which no chemical bonds are broken or formed. This means that the same types of compounds or elements that were there at the beginning of the change are there at the end of the change. Because the ending materials are the same as the beginning materials, the properties, such as colors, boiling point, will also be the same. Physical changes involve moving molecules around, but not changing them. Some types of physical changes include change of state, changes from a solid to a liquid or a gas and vice versa. Second is separation of a mixture, physical deformation, and making solutions. So here's an example of physical change. Melting, since some properties of the materials change but the identity of the matters does not. Other change of the state includes evaporation, liquid to gas, freezing, liquid to solid, and condensation, gas to liquid. Now, let's talk about chemical changes. Chemical changes occur when bonds are broken and or form between molecules or atoms. This means that one substance with a certain set of properties such as melting point, color, taste is turned into a different substances with different properties. Chemical changes are frequently harder to reverse than physical changes. So there are evidence of chemical changes. In a chemical change, new substances are formed. When this process occurs, we call it chemical reaction. What is chemical reaction? A chemical reaction is a process in which one or more substances are changed into one or more new substances. During a chemical reaction, you can identify some signs that a chemical change may have occurred. If you observe two or more of these signs during a change, you most likely are observing a chemical change. So number one is a production of an odor. Some chemical changes produce new smells. When a chemical changes happens, new substances are formed, and sometimes these new substances have different smells. That's why a new or strange odor can be sign that a chemical reaction has occurred. The chemical change that occurs when an egg is rotting produces the smell of sulfur. Number 2. Change in temperature or energy. Chemical changes often are accompanied by a change in temperature or the release of gain of energy by an object. Exothermic reactions give off heat while endothermic reactions absorb heat. Exothermic reactions are chemical reactions that release into their surroundings. This means the temperature around them usually goes up. For example, when you burn a wood or a candle, heat and light are released. That's an exothermic reaction. On the other hand, endothermic reactions absorb heat from their surroundings. This means the temperature around them usually goes down. A good example is when you mix baking soda and vinegar. The mixture becomes cooler because it's taking its heat. Number 3. Change in color. A change in color often indicates a chemical change. A chemical change in color often means that a chemical change has happened. This is because when substances react, they can form new substances with different properties, including a new color. For example, when an iron nail rusts, it changed from a shiny gray to reddish brown. That color change shows that a new substance, rust, has formed. So when you see a color change, that doesn't happen just by mixing or dissolving something. It's usually a sign of a chemical reaction taking place. Number 4. Formations of bubbles. When an antacid tablet contacts water, it begins to bubble. The formation of gas bubbles is another indicator that a chemical change may have occurred. When an antacid tablet is dropped into water, it starts to bubble because a gas is being formed. This bubbling shows that a chemical reaction is happening between the substances in the tablet and the water. During the reaction, new substances are produced. One of them is a gas, usually carbon dioxide, which escapes as bubbles. The formation of gas bubble is a strong sign that a chemical change has taken place, not just a physical one. Number 5 is the formation of a solid. When two liquids are combined, a solid called a precipitate can form. When two liquids are mixed and a solid forms, that solid is called a precipitate. The formation of a precipitate means a chemical change has happened because a new substance is created. When you mix lemon juice and milk, a solid forms in the liquid. This solid is a precipitate, and it shows that a chemical change has happened. The acid in the lemon juice reacts with the proteins in the milk, creating new solid clumps called curds. And that's all the evidences of changes. Alright, class, let's wrap up our lesson for today. We learned something very interesting about physical change and the chemical changes. Before we end, let's review what we discovered. Now, who can tell me what is physical change? Very good! A physical change is when something changes in shape, size, or form, but it's still the same substance, like when we cut paper, melt ice, or fold our clothes. The materials doesn't become something new. Now, how about chemical change? Excellent! A chemical change happens when something new is formed, like when iron rusts, food is cooked, or a candle burns. We can easily bring it back to its original form. So remember, physical changes are only changes in how something looks or feels, while chemical changes create something new. Both are parts of science and they happen around us every day. So, next time you melt ice, cook food, or see something rust, think about whether it is a physical change or a chemical change. You're already thinking like a young scientist. So great job today, everyone. Give yourself a clap for learning something new about change and matter. So again, this is Teacher Sai saying science starts with a curiosity. Every question is a beginning of new discovery. Bye!